Hello everyone, welcome to Old Bluff. Today we've got a small walnut log, a little shorty. I don't like doing anything less than 10 foot, but the customer had this one and it's kind of wide, so I thought if I get it braced off and get that first cut, I'd be okay with it. Oh, before I forget, as you can see, Bella and Brutus have had a litter of pups, so we're now a proud owner of grand dogs. They're pretty little things. They really take care of them. Brutus kind of keeps guard over everything. We've got the little white one there. That's Runty, what Kay has named her. She may wind up keeping her. I don't know. She was real small when she was born. Boy, she's the first one in the food bowl and the last one to leave. And she'll grab an ear and run with it in a second. She holds her own with the rest of them, even though all of them are bigger than she is. So we got the log up on the sawmill about where we want it. I've got the ends coated. You can see I've got it turned with this long direction sideways. Ought to make some pretty good little slabs. We're going to be cutting 2-inch slabs out of it. The customer's wanting 1.5-inch finished slabs, so we're going to give it a little bit to dry and give them something to plane out. It's got several limbs on the side, so it ought to have some good crotch figure in it. You can see down the side there, that small limb. I think there's another one somewhere on it. Yeah, it does have another one down the bottom, so we'll get that when we flip it over. You can see here that I've got my clamp dog up high and those manual backstops up pretty high just to try and get a good clamp arrangement going on this log so it won't move on this first cut. And then once I flip it over on that flat area, I'll readjust everything, lower those backstops and this clamp dog to keep them out of the way. So let's see what we got with it. It'll be nice and dark when it cures out. Got a little bit of punk here. This is the bark line now, that's good. Get my little duster. Oh man, yeah. Got a little bit of blade chatter to begin with. We're probably going a little bit slow because it got better right here. I'm on the brace. I just have to remember that. It's good and solid. Never get tired of it. Now let's get this thing rolled over, get it on that flat surface so I have a good area that I can clamp off to, and I'll show you how I get that braced off here in a second. These short and odd shaped logs are really hard to handle with that chain turner. We'll see how it turns out here. You can see what I've done here on the back. I've got the smaller backstops raised up. I had to put a 2x4 in there to help brace this thing off. I think that's going to get it. I'm going to be using the pattern mode to cut 2-inch slabs out of this log. You don't see a lot of people talking about it. It comes in real handy. It's a good feature on the machine. I've got mine set up so if I go to 1, it starts, well, I had from 6 on my logs that I was doing, but normally it'll start at 1, go to 1.5, just the 4 increments that I do it with a 1-inch. I did the same with a 2, but you can see I've got it all out of sorts. So we'll get it to 2 inches. And drop everything down. So you can see now everything's set on 2 inches for the pattern. So no matter where it's at, you've got 6 2-inch settings, so it's gonna drop down and leave you 2 inches at the frame of the sawmill. So that's what we're gonna be running on. So I'll drop it down to where it first hits the log and start there. I'm in the pattern mode. You see my laser light drop down until I just met the top of the log where I'm comfortable with it. and that pattern mode is going to leave 2-inch increments all the way down, allowing for the kerf of the saw blade. And like I say, this is a really good feature of the AccuSet. It really comes in handy in situations like this where you don't want to waste anything and have exactly what you need left sitting on the bed frame. I didn't use it a lot to begin with, but now that I've started using it, I'm finding more and more things that I can use it for. You can actually set different dimensions within it. You can set your first increment and bring it down, then change the next increment that you want to drop. Say if you want to do 2 buys and then switch to 1 buys, you can program that in, save it. Really comes in handy. And after I got this log flat on one side and got it flipped over, it's pretty stable. I didn't have any problem with it moving at all. I just, when you get these irregular shaped short logs like this, you really have to pay attention to your clamping. I spent a good bit of time working on that, just getting where I was satisfied with it. You don't want something moving while you're sawmilling there and just make a mess with it. This log turned out pretty good overall. It got enough slabs to do what the customers want to do. He's going to do a coffee table and a couple of end tables, I believe he said, so he got plenty to work with, and it really turns out pretty. And I'll show you that here in a second. I'll get some of these off stacked and cleaned up and show you a little about what we got going on. I threw a little bit of water on there so you can see what the customer's got to work with. It's real pretty wood. Good grains, real dark. That's what they're after. You can see some of that. We'll get into a little more crotch figure as we get on down through the log. We got, I think, 4 cut so far. This is a smaller half round. It does have a flat spot on it. It'd make a good shelf anyway. They're gonna do a coffee table and 2 end tables out of this. I hope they got something for legs, because this is the only log they gave me. It's pretty stuff. Here I wanted to show what the laser light looks like when you drop back down to your previous cut height. You can see that laser light running down the length of the log and just dancing across that lead edge there. It comes in handy. Here you see I'm making the last cut on the log. Split this last section. You notice too that I didn't use the debarker on this log. This log had been kept up in a barn for several years, is my understanding, and the bark on it was just, it turned to dust. That's mostly what's flying off the log as I cut it. So I didn't think it was necessary, and I was afraid the debarker would cut in more than I'd want to and get into their live edge that they would be keeping on the log once they got it finished out. So I was real careful not to try and scar it up on those edges. Here's the last 2 pieces that we got. You can see a good crotch figure in this one. This is the bottom one. You can see how the pattern cut left a full 2-inch piece there on the bottom. Comes in real handy. It's just a good feature that the AccuSet has. You don't see a lot of people talk about it and use it. This turned out real good. These are the last 2. I think he got 7 slabs and then a smaller half round that's flat on one side. I think they got plenty to work with. Well, here's the finished log. Customer's on his way to pick it up. And I appreciate you watching. I hadn't done a video in a while, so I thought I'd get a little short one out. But if you haven't already, please think about hitting that like button, maybe subscribe. We need all the help we can get. So until next video, take care and be safe.